Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Either way, you know that I'm happy to have you. Let's get to it. So in this box, I have the entire Après Gel X system because on this channel, I've basically been using Gel X dupes. And I decided to go ahead and purchase the real thing to see if there's actually a difference. I know I'm late to the party, but better late than never, right? So I'm gonna finish unboxing everything and then show you each product that I purchased. So the first thing I have here is their pH bonder, which is essentially a dehydrator. And what a dehydrator does is help remove all the excess oils off of your natural nails. Next, I have their primer. So this is the second step in the whole Gel X application process. And what a primer does is create a tacky, sticky layer and basically helps everything adhere to your natural nails. Primer is very important so you can make sure that the gel extensions last long, and it's a quite crucial step. So I was excited to try their primer because I've used other primers. Now their primer does have the exact same brush as the dehydrator, which is a shorter, stifter brush, which in my opinion is perfect for applying things to a natural nail. So I also picked up their infamous Extend Gel. Of course, I had to get this because everyone talks about how great it is. And I want to see for myself, honestly. It comes in this beautiful gold bottle. The only thing I don't like about the gold bottle, and it's so minimal, it has nothing to do with the product itself. It's just that it's very hard to see that black text on there. And yeah, but anyway, the Extend Gel looks like it has a thicker consistency than what I'm used to using. So I'm excited to see what the differences are going to be. So last but not least, of course, I ordered some tips. There are two boxes here that I actually ordered from the ApresNails.com website. I did also purchase another box from Amazon when they were selling on Amazon for a period of time. I will talk about that in a second, but I'm going to show you these first. These are Sculpted Stiletto Long. Y'all know me, y'all know I love stiletto nails, but these are their newer boxes where they have 600 pieces in 14 sizes. Previously, their boxes had about 500 pieces and they did not have the 00 in the box, and I hated that. And that's actually what prevented me from purchasing from them sooner, because I know that I need a 00 and I don't think it makes sense for me to go buy 00 separately when I know that's what I need and then buy a box. I wasn't doing that. So now that they have it in, I made the purchase. But I also wanted to mention that they do have half sizes in these boxes now. So you see the 4.5, the 5.5, and the 6.5 in the box. So I'm going to grab a tip so you can see what the stiletto shape looks like. This is a 00, so this is going to be the longest and the widest tip in the box. So next up, I have their sculpted square long tips, and I actually forgot to mention this earlier. Apres offers sculpted tips and natural tips, and basically the difference is how high the apex is. I prefer a higher apex, so that's why I choose all sculpted tips, but it's based on what fits your natural nail best and your personal preference. So here is what the sculpted square long looks like. And y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't grab a 00, but here is a 0. The last box I have here was purchased on Amazon, and this is in the sculpted almond long shape. Now, Apres went through a short period where they stopped offering the 600 piece boxes on their website and only placed them on Amazon for purchase, which is why I purchased there. I do not recommend that you purchase these tips on Amazon, because there is a price difference. They are cheaper on the Apres website. Unless Amazon is more convenient for you as far as delivery fees, then I recommend just get it from the Apres site. So here is what the long almond shape looks like. I'm actually going to grab the other shapes and place them here so you can see all three of them together. I just grabbed these randomly so you can see the differences in the shape. You can see the difference between the almond and the stiletto. Most importantly, obviously a square is going to be way different than those. But if you are curious and wanting to know the actual measurements as far as width and length, they have them listed on their website now for each of the shapes. Now jumping into the application process, my nails are completely bare and I'm going to lay out the products in order so they're quicker to grab and the process just moves a little bit more seamlessly. So I'm going to lay out the dehydrator, the primer, and then the Extend Gel. I decided for the tips, I'm going to go with the sculpted almond long because I have absolutely never done a long almond shape nail on this channel. So I'm going to go ahead and be different today, leave the stiletto alone, and we're going to use this. No matter what products I'm using, I always start off the gel extension process by using sunscreen. Now I know there are a ton of studies going on that say using an LED UV lamp is no different than putting your hands on a steering wheel when you're driving, but this makes me feel better. And I think that it's nothing wrong with having a little bit of added protection. You know, do you? You can skip it, you can do it, it's up to you. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my sizes. And to do this, you wanna make sure that the extensions fit appropriately. If they don't fit appropriately, they are going to fall off and they're not going to last the minimum of 2 weeks. They're going to be gone in 2 days. When you are sizing your nails, you wanna make sure the extension fully covers your entire nail and fits from sidewall to sidewall. So I'm going to show you what 3 different sizes look like on my nail. One is going to be the right fit, one is going to be too big, and the other one is going to be too small, so you understand what the differences are when you are doing this at home. So now looking at this size, I can see that it actually is too big, because if you turn the nail to the side, you can see it's covering my natural nail and also covering my skin, which means it's way too big. So I'm gonna try this one as well, and from first glance it looks like it fits well from sidewall to sidewall, but what you guys cannot see here is that I'm having to press down with my finger and hold it in place. When I move my finger off, it actually pops up, and that means it's actually too small. Sometimes a tip can look like it fits perfectly, but it's actually uncomfortable on your nail. And if you were to select that particular size, it's going to pop off. It's not going to last. So there's 2 things to note here. 1, make sure it fits from sidewall to sidewall, and 2, make sure that it's comfortable. It should not feel super tight, and it should not feel like at any second it's going to pop off. So this particular tip fits, as you can see, it covers my nail, and you can see that there's no space in between where my natural nail stops and where the extension stops. So I'm gonna go with this size here because it is the most comfortable and it fits from sidewall to sidewall. Now I do need to file the sides so it fits a little bit better on my sidewall, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process for the rest of my fingers, and I'm going to place my sizes onto the screen. Here are my nail beds and what they look like, so therefore you have a reference point if you're doing them at home for the first time. So I'm going to actually do the application process exactly how Apres instructs you to. They have a video on their YouTube channel, and that is what I'm following. So I'm taking the dehydrator and placing it on top of each nail. So when you're applying your dehydrator, you want to make sure that the nail looks dry, crusty, and dusty. If you look at your nails after applying the first layer of dehydrator and you notice that there's like little places of shine, do this process again. You can see here that my nails definitely look nice and dry, so we're going to move on to the next step, which is applying a primer. So once you apply your primer, it is actually going to dry down sticky. So think of tape. It's going to feel like tape is on the back of tape anyway, is on your nails. It's an adhesive. It's there to stick everything together so that your Gel X nails last. So I just messed up, and I kept this in here because I want to tell you guys this so you don't make the same mistake I did. So on the website, Apres has 2 different products. They have a primer and then they have what's called a Gel X prep. I bought the primer not realizing that they're 2 separate products. I don't know how I messed that up because they're in 2 different colored bottles. So that's just a my bad type of situation. I used the primer to etch the inside of the extension. So when I was watching the YouTube video that they posted, that's when I realized I was using the wrong product. I should have been using the Gel X prep that comes in a silver bottle to etch the inside of the extension. The primer is to etch the natural nail. I don't know how I messed that up, but I did. It is what it is. I now own the Gel X prep, so in a future video I will use it, but you know, it is what it is. You can etch the inside of your tips with a drill bit. I didn't do that because they weren't doing that on the video and I wanted to follow it to a T, but then again, I also didn't even use the right product. Now I'm grabbing their Extend Gel and I'm going to be placing this on top of my natural nails. I know I constantly say this a lot on my channel, but if you're new here, I'm going to say it again just in case. Please do not get this product on your skin. It can cause allergies if it's on the skin due to overexposure, which means that product has been on your skin way too many times or it's been left uncured, and it's going to develop allergies that are long-term for you. So make sure you don't do that. Keep the product on the nail. Of course, things happen. If it gets on your skin, make sure you clean it up. For me personally, I find just moving slower works a lot better than me constantly having to clean it up. But things do happen. So I'm going to show you what happens if I get it onto my skin. Basically, what I do is I instantly stop and I grab some alcohol, place it into a small container, and then grab a flat brush and immediately remove the gel product off my skin. That's the best thing you can do when you're doing your nails at home to keep that gel off your skin, but really prevention is the best thing. Just try not to get it on your skin, but if it happens, clean it up instantly. Don't wait around to clean it up now. So now that I'm done preaching to you all about the dangers of gel left on the skin, let's go back to what we were doing, which was applying the gel glue to each of the nails. Now that the gel glue is on each of my fingers, I'm going to go ahead and cure this in my lamp. I typically cure for 60 seconds, but the back of the bottle actually says to cure for only 30 seconds. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow instructions today and not do my own thing. Here is what the product looks like on top of my natural nails. I know my natural nails look real beat up, and it's because they all broke off on something. So I'm growing them back. I don't trim my nails under the extension because I like for them to grow underneath them. I know that some people don't like that look. It's up to you really, but yeah, I thought I would say that because don't leave me any comments about my nails. I know they look a mess, but that's why we're putting on top extensions, okay? All right, so now I'm going to place the extensions on top of my natural nail. What I'm doing is taking some Extend Gel and placing it on the bottom half of the tip. Once I get to the end of the tip, I'm going to pull the brush downward so I can get a dollop. Once we have the gel on there and we're ready to place it on the nail, I'm going to angle the nail and align it with my cuticle line and then press down in a 45-degree angle. Slowly. If you move slowly, you'll be able to see how the glue flows towards the top of the nail, and you can release the pressure once it gets to the end of your natural nail so that you don't have overflow and gel underneath your nails, etc., etc. Once the tip is on, you're going to place it in a flash cure lamp for about 15 seconds. I like to use a gooseneck lamp on the edge of my desk because it's more flexible. I can move it to whatever position makes me the most comfortable. I will say that when applying this gel glue, I did feel like I experienced more heat spikes. Heat spikes aren't necessarily an awful thing. It's just slightly like a weird feeling. I just chalked it up to I probably used a little bit too much gel. So use the thinnest layer that you possibly can when applying these extensions. Once all the nails are attached, I am going to go ahead and cure in my LED UV lamp. The tips are on, and this is what they're looking like at this stage. Here you can see my thumb is up there, it's just out of frame. So first of all, I really want to say I really like the shape of these tips. It was such a hassle finding a long almond shape on the internet. I feel like I have cycled through all the Amazon brands and they'll say it's almond, but it's really stiletto, and these are truly in long almond shape. So definitely want to say that. Now for the dehydrator, I don't think that's a necessity because you can dehydrate the nails in more cost-effective ways. You can use a buffer, you can actually use acetone. There are cheaper dehydrators on the market. As far as the primer, my nails last for a while, but I really like the Extend Gel. I've used the Beetles brand, which is slightly thicker than this. I've also used the McCart brand, which is definitely more liquidy than this. So this is kind of like in between as far as consistency goes, but the application process was a lot easier with this one. I think it's because it has like the perfect consistency where it's not moving around, it's not budging, it's not getting everywhere. So I have to take the tip on and off multiple times, but I did like it. So if you had to pick things to try from their brand, I would say get their primer and their extend gel, and then whatever tips you like. I feel like those are worth it. You can skip out on the dehydrator. And they also sell that Gel X prep. I will try that and let you guys know how I feel later because I don't have it here at this point, but I have it coming in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and seal the cuticle. There are two ways in which you can do this. So the first way is taking acetone and a small brush and rubbing it around the cuticle area to melt the tip very so gently. The other way is to take a drill and a small cuticle bit and go around the area a couple of times. Apres did redo their tips, so the cuticle area is a lot thinner. And I did definitely notice that it was much thinner than tips that I have used before. And the amount of cuticle sealing that I normally have to do, I didn't have to do with these. So I researched these because I was concerned with if I sealed too much, I was going to get some lifting and I didn't want that. And Apres actually says that with these new tips in the 600-piece box, you don't need to seal the cuticle. Now that's up for debate, you know. So I'm gonna do a future video of me not sealing the cuticle like they say, and then sealing the cuticle and see how they hold up, because I'm curious, because if you don't need to seal the cuticle, like I'd be more than happy to skip that step. But since I didn't know that at the time of filming this video, I did go ahead and still seal the cuticles. But now that I know, I'm gonna test it out. Now that the tips are applied, I am gonna go ahead and do a little bit of shaping. I do this with every brand of tips because first of all, there's always that little piece y'all see at the top of the tip that needs to be gone. Then also I wanna go around the sides to make sure that the nail looks custom fitted to my natural nail and doesn't look like weird. You want to make sure not to overfile the tip so that you don't lose the shape. Also, Apres constantly says that you should not cut down or really file their tips because you will lose not only the shape but the integrity and the strength of their nails. I don't really ever cut my tips, so I can't really speak too much on that. I'm just going to share that with you and just be mindful of it. Since I was shaping, there is a ton of dust that gets kicked up everywhere, and before I polish, I want to remove it so it's not looking all weird. I'm taking a lint-free nail wipe and some alcohol and removing all of the extra dust from the extension. I'm making sure also to get underneath the extension because sometimes the dust does get under there, and I just want to make sure all of it is gone. What I'm doing here is tapping the nail to make sure the alcohol has dried off of it. And now that it is, I'm gonna go ahead and apply a base coat. And the one I'm using today is from the brand Coupa. And what base coat does is make sure that the gel polish has something to stick to and helps the polish last for a long period of time. So I think I want to do these blueberry milk nails today. I know that it is fall, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do these. So to get this look, I'm actually going to use this color from Nail Reserve LA. It's called Kiss and Tell. It's a light blue, but it reminds me of this perfect like Cinderella blue. It's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this first to each of the nails. So since I have one coat of this on, I don't know what I was doing, and I was gonna edit this out and not show you all, but things happen. I hit my nail on the lamp and didn't even notice it. So it cured that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a second coat to one, cover that up, and two, to get better coverage because that looks a mess. Like, I know things happen. And I try not to have this like perfect thing going on in my channel and show you guys the things that happen so you know how to fix them if they happen to you. So just go in with the second coat and pay attention when you are putting your nails in the lamp so that you don't bump them and then they cure that way because yeah. Now that the second coat is all applied, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this in my lamp for 60 seconds and move in slowly so I'm not bumping the nails again. So I'm going in with another color from Nail Reserve LA. It's called Playground, and this is actually a milky white with a purple color shift. So it looks a little bit like chrome. And then I realized I moved away from the whole blueberry milk nail thing because now I'm going lighter instead of darker. So we're just gonna call this a light blue, slightly chrome blueberry milk knockoff because I went in the completely different direction. Like I was like, blueberry milk, who? The dupe. So here are what the nails are looking like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this in my lamp for another 60 seconds. For top coat today, I'm gonna be using this no wipe one from Madam Glam, and I'm just gonna place this on top of each of the nails. And when you apply the top coat on top of this color Playground, you can really see it peek through, and it's such a pretty color. I really love these two together. Once I'm done, I am gonna go ahead and pop these in my lamp and cure. Here are what the nails are looking like now that I'm all done. They're all painted and they're on. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And of course, I will see you in this next video here because I think you should check it out.